Hello and welcome to Three Questions with. Got my friend Bobbie with us from OpenDoor Sales and Training and Coaching. Good morning, Bobbie. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Kevin. Thank you for having me.
So, Bobbie, I want to talk a little bit about sales today. And we're coming to graduation time, Bobbie, at school. And some of my students are like, Kev, I want to go into a career in sales because my cousin has a friend who has a friend who's in sales and they're making a ton of money. And they think it's just, simple as picking up the phone and going, hey, Bobbie, I'm selling X. You want to buy it? Great. How many of them do you want?
Yeah.
If it's that easy, we probably wouldn't be on this call right now, right? Because you'd be on somewhere.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I think a lot of times the motivation is that people assume that I can make a lot of money, but you have to realize that there is work involved in making that money. You've got to bring in the business and you've got to be working at a level or for a company that offers a product or solution that will give you that kind of a commission level. But it is like any other job or any other career requires skills and a process. And that's really what I teach with my OpenDoor sales process. It's consultative. I've had a lot of formal sales training on my own, and with a background in education and counseling and training and coaching, I sort of pulled it all together, seeing there was such a common thread with everything. But it's a great way to make a living. And one thing I've observed, and I'm sure you can relate to this with your students, is in all my years in working in healthcare and insurance markets and in startup companies, what I often saw is that many entry-level positions were in inside sales, customer service, or some kind of sales support, account management. And all of those disciplines can very much benefit from formal sales training.
So, Bobbie, one of the things I found when I started my business was learning to handle rejection. There was people that I'm like, you should join my group. I know I can help you. No, thank you. And I was stunned because these are people known for years through networking, and I just naturally assumed they were coming. And when they did it hurt my feelings for a little while. You're like, who in their right mind wants to sit there and make call after call? No. And like, oh my God. And then you get to that yes, you're like, okay, I reset the bar. I can go again.
That's right. The yeses are so sweet after all those no's.
But there's days when you're like, oh my God, I have days when I met you. You're like, hey, I want to join. That was amazing. I have other days I might talk to 10 people in a day and not one person expresses any interest in coming to events, being a member. How do you teach people to learn to handle the rejection?
Yeah, it really is important to get to a place where you don't take things personally. I can remember the sales trainer that I had for a gazillion years used to always say, now cover your belly button, cover your belly button. That was his term. I think my experience has been, and what I've learned is it does come with not taking it personally, but also confidence. And the third thing I would say is always realizing that this is a business relationship. It's important to have rapport at the beginning, but I think sometimes people think sales is just schmoozing. And you're not trying to make friends. You have a solution. You're trying to sell it to a potential client. Your company is relying on you. You have to kind of keep one foot in that camp and the other foot in the camp of your target prospect. And if you can maintain that level of professionalism and have real confidence and realize that with your productivity, it is a numbers game. You are going to, if you're making X number of calls or you have so many proposals out there is a close ratio of everything that you do. And to your point, then you feel so great when you finally get that yes, right? Not everybody is going to say yes.
Yep, unfortunately.
Yeah. And I think one of the things too, one of the programs that I teach, I call purposeful prospecting, and it is getting ready to sell. And part of that is making sure you are really clear on all the messaging and that everything's consistent with the people in your company and what you're putting forth when you talk about your value proposition. People need to be in the same sales structure and using a common sales language. And that helps when you when you go out into the marketplace. And then you really need to know your target and be clear about who is a good target for me. And then you dig into their needs and move forward from there.
I like that you mentioned consultative approach, because I have to admit, when I was first starting this, I assumed that everyone wanted to come to networking events. I have some people, Bobbie, would rather get a root canal than go to a networking event.
Yes.
Never occurred to me. So
Yeah.
I had to step back and say, what am I doing that can help this person? Because again, they may not want to come to events. So I had to learn, like you just discussed, what part of my features will appeal to Bobbie. I didn't get that at first. I'm like, hey, I hope events, they're amazing. You should come. And people were like, what's so amazing about them? How's it different than everyone else? So that was a lesson I had to learn. So you can help people kind of find out, what they have that's going to be appealing to people. And like you said, not everyone is a potential client. You have to accept that.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And the other thing that comes up when you say that is people don't have to be an extrovert to be successful in sales. And I talk about that too. I mean, I try to, make an effort to meet a company, a group of people where they are. And we talk a little bit before the training about how do you feel when you say I'm in sales? Some people have a little bit of not shame about it, but it's like, I don't want someone to think of me like the used car person that I had a terrible experience with, because it is real. That does happen. But I think that, again, that whole confidence, and also realizing that you've got to make sure that you've done your homework, and that every interaction that you have makes sense. And introverted people who follow a process and can focus on their solution, and they're not overly concerned about the schmoozing aspect that we sometimes assume, can do very, very well. You can build a rapport with someone as an introverted person, because what you really do want to accomplish at the rapport stage is building a relationship of trust. And that takes a little bit of time, but that's what you're laying the groundwork for, because if you don't have that, it's going to be really hard to ask the tough questions later on, like, what is your budget?
Right.
And what can you share your budget with me? Who's going to help you make this decision? How do you gently find out if the person you're really talking to is the decision maker? All those kind of fine points.
So, Bobbie, what's the best way for people to reach out to you? How can they learn more?
Oh, thank you. Well, I have a website, OpenDoorselling.com. And my email is Bobbie, BOBBIEA @OpenDoorselling.com.
Bobbie, I appreciate you taking a few minutes out of your day to come on the show. And as always, thanks for being my friend.
Oh, thank you, Kevin. It was great to meet you. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
And